$3.
$3.
Last at $28.35. I think that's about $3.20.
This is me pulling my hair out. Why?
Why?
Why is weed up? Press release. Tell me, what's going on?
Well, we're right in. I got a little. Let's see. What chart do I have up here?
I don't know.
I got a 1 month. Look at the 1 month. Just look at this for a minute.
Let's do that.
Okay.
All right.
And
then.
just to point out, we look at this. It took all this time to get here, and today we did it like that. Now it's got some good structure to it.
So
the big thing can it close above that? And I bet you a guy like our buddy down in the Carolinas there, he's looking at that.
Our buddy down in the Carolinas.
Dan, the charting man.
Dan, the charting man, Dan? Yeah, how come he's not on the show this week?
Well, I don't know.
That's kind of odd. Oh, he's at a music festival, is he?
And I saw a couple of reports today. That little move in interest rates has moved a lot of sovereign bonds to positive yields as opposed to negative yields.
You don't say.
Yeah, I don't know what it all means, but
nobody does.
You know, a lot of people think that low rates are going to destroy the banking system.
You think?
Negative rates, yeah.
Negative rates are going to destroy the banking system.
Yeah, we should probably want negative rates.
So we should go short the banks?
Well, if you believe that rates are going to keep dropping, yeah, look at Deutsche Bank. Okay, so why is it J.P. Morgan's at an all-time high,
yeah, and
Deutsche Bank's at an almost all-time low?
Well, because Deutsche Bank.
Well, maybe seen as not as, positive as we think.
Talking about the economy now?
The big E.
All right, well, tell me what happened in the, what's going on?
My pack just died.
My pack just died. Oh, so you can't hear it. You talk.
Okay. That's not a problem. Okay, so let's see where the action is, and away we go. Okay, so what are we going to do? Let's look at interest rates today. I'm just looking for talking here.
Yeah.
193 on the 10-year.
10-year.
10-year. You got your 10-year?
Yeah, 10 years.
Well, once you got your 10-year,
10 years later,
you're laughing.
You're still having your 10-year.
So no change in yields are up a snick.
So tell me about the interest rate scenario, though. That seems to really be interesting.
Well, yeah, look, rates have jumped dramatically. You say, well, what are you talking about? They're still under 2%, but that's about a third increase from about $1.42 in late August to $1.92.
What happened to your voice?
I get a little tickle.
Yeah? Who is it?
Who's the lucky beneficiary?
Anyways, yeah, so what else? The California's on fire.
California's on fire.
Yeah. The stock markets.
Canada came out with worse than expected employment numbers today, and everyone went, what? We were expecting an increase of 15,000 jobs in the month of October. They got minus 2,000.
Minus 2,000.
Yeah, that's
so 2,000 people lost their jobs in Canada? Just 2,000?
In that month. Yeah.
I think that's pretty awful.
Well, Pilgrim, yeah. I'll listen and listen tight.
What do you think about the cannabis industry today? So, like, obviously.
Well, let's look at some of your bellwether.
No, let's look at some of yours.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with my internet here suddenly. But yeah, so the whole sector's struggling again.
Well, okay,
we're going to have, today on the show, we're going to have Narbe Alexander in here. He's the CEO of Canopy Rivers. Inner Spirit Holdings CEO Darren Bondar is also going to be here. And we're going to add a third one. We just don't know who it is yet.
You get
George Robinson. That's the one I was wondering about.
Yeah. So is this, Robinson's a pretty common name, I think, isn't it?
Well, here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. Jesus has a place for those who know.
Okay.
Ho. So the whole sector is up today. This is interesting. CSE is up 3.79% on this.
Okay.
The venture index is up 2.91%. The large cap is up 8.28%. Obviously, driven by Canopy, and the small cap index is up 4.41%. So, before we get all flummoxed on why weed is up $3, the question is, why is the sector up so much today?
Well, can I throw something out there?
Well, please do. I don't know why.
We've been sort of watching the sector now for a year and a half, or not longer than that. And it's been kind of crappy for the last year, specifically the last 6 months. But the markets go up and down, and they always seem to go up when they're least expected to. And we've been mired in bad news, things, lots of marijuana out there, there's this problem, that. You know what? That's when the sellers are gone. They're gone, although there will be a lot of tax loss selling this year, won't there?
I kind of don't think so.
Okay.
You know why I don't think so?
Why?
Because I think all the tax loss selling's already been done back in June, July, August, and September. Because, really, so what happens? You see the market start sliding, you start lightening up your position. You see the market slide sort of strengthen, you really start lightening up your position. You get to the end of the summer when the doldrums are supposed to come to an end and the downturn intensifies, you start bailing hard. And so by the end of September, October, like I was flat all my cannabis positions by what? End of August? I think? Is that accurate? I don't know. Don't hold me to that because I can never remember what the hell's going on because I'm so stoned all the time. But It's amazing that I even find my way to work in the morning.
Yeah, it is. That is incredible.
No, without a note pinned to my chest.
One way to solve that problem would be to work from your house.
Or, what I could do is I could just tie a line from like the banister at the front door of the Exchange Tower and just thread it all the way home and tie it to the front railing.
Sure.
And this way I could even be like this and I'd get to work as long as nobody messed with me.
Yeah.
But it would be easy.
Now, you walk a lot, don't you?
I walk a lot.
Now, would you say you use the same route all the time, or do you like to mix it up?
Well, I have my standard, like the shortest time possible route.
Yeah. What's that distance?
What's the distance?
What's the time?
It's 28 minutes.
So if you're moving
Actually,
at a good pace,
I can do it in 25. Sometimes I jog.
So it's it's a little less than 2 miles, probably.
Could be. What's that in kilometers?
3.2, I think.
Huh. I could look at my phone and figure it out.
Well,
exactly.
It's 3.2.
Really? Are you sure about that?
Pretty sure.
I
think it's 3.31.
Do you have a calculator?
3.31.
Is this science-based?
3.31. Who wants to take on a bet here? 3.31.
Yeah.
Yeah. You care?
Nope. Sorry, I didn't have my NDI up. That's why nobody's looking at my chart here. And I have too many windows open, as usual.
3.31 kilometers in miles is 2.057 miles.
Fascinating. Looking at the large cap constituents here, Canopy growth is up 13% to $3.28, $3.28 to $28.41. Aurora is up 6.79% to $5.03. So it's interesting.
The big boys.
But the heavier the weighting in the indexes, the more the company is up, except until you get down to the Green Organic Dutchman, which is also up 8%, but that's only 8 cents or $1, and total market cap of this company is now 276 million.
Maybe the people that want to be in the sector are saying, okay, now's the time to start buying the ones that are going to be there because they've got lots of cash, strong balance sheets, lots of business. Because a lot of these companies aren't going to be around.
Yeah, well, that's true.
So maybe
we should make a list and check it twice in the spirit of the season.
I think we should check it twice.
We'll find out who's still going to be around in January.
Who's been naughty and nice.
We'll see who's going to be around to actually ruin their New Year's resolution.
See if
my New Year's resolution is to survive.
How about lump of coal?
Lump of coal? Who's getting a lump of coal? Charlie Brown? Are you getting a lump of coal for Christmas, Ed? Oh, come on. Somebody's got I'll get you a bottle of whiskey to wash that down with.
Oh, that'll be, I'll be looking forward to that lump of coal.
That's a nice lump of coal, exactly. But so, what comment can we make about the entire sector when it's also green? Unless it's like,
I know, but we've been saying in the last few weeks how shitty it is, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the phoenix rises from the ashes. Jesus.
Gee, wow, is that what's going on? It's the phoenix rising from the ashes. So we're having a biblical event.
Well,
actually, the phoenix isn't biblical. It's mythological.
Yeah, a phoenix is just some bird, isn't it?
It's a mythological. Actually, no, it's not a bird. It's a dragon.
With look like a bird.
That is, it's a bird.
Buck, 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 buck.
With a it's a lizard with
chicken
wings. Okay, so Phoenix. Let's see, what is a phoenix exactly again here? I always get the phoenix confused
Arizona
with the griffin.
I know the griffin's a little different though.
Yeah, what's the difference between a phoenix and a griffin?
Yeah. Well, what about Pan? Remember Pan from your comic book days?
Now you're talking half man, half goat.
Yeah.
We're focusing on things that fly.
Hey! This guy didn't have a misspent youth. He was reading comic books. I like Pan.
Ed, you seem like a different man today.
I am. Don't look below my waist. I might hoof you.
Hoof me.
Oh,
so this is why you want to talk about Pan.
It behooves me to hoof you.
You became half goat last night, or probably all goat last night?
Old goat. You old goat.
You were 100% goat last night.
Oh.
The griffin is a creature with the body, tail, and back legs of a lion, the head and wings of an eagle, and sometimes an eagle's talons as its front feet.
Wow.
That's one confused animal. Now, the phoenix, on the other hand...
Yeah.
The phoenix, on the other hand, is... boy, I love how slow the internet is these days.
Oh,
Phoenix,
I know.
Wiki. Oh. I love how slow Google is. Phoenix. Okay. No, doesn't want to give us just one simple answer. It wants to give us a whole bunch of stuff to choose from. Mythology. The mythical Greek bird. See, why does it have a griffin? It's like, it's this, 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 and this. When he asks the phoenix, now it's got, like, it wants to give you the whole story. I want a description of what the phoenix is. Damn you. Smash!
There you go.
Let's see.
That'll make it, you'll get even.
In ancient Greek folklore, a phoenix is a long-lived bird that cyclically regenerates or is otherwise born again. That's where those bloody Christians came from, the born-agains.
Phoenix.
They're phoenixi. Pheni.
Pheni.
They're pheni.
Pheni.
Anyways, according to some sources, the phoenix dies in a show of flames and combustion, although there are other sources that claim that the legendary bird dies and simply decomposes before being born again. So in other words, before it is reborn, it stinks. Because there is no decomposition without significant downgrade in air quality. Would you agree with that? Dingbat?
Okay, wingnut.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you got to be the wingnut because it's the W matches
Wingnut
the W.
West, yeah. That's how I remember that I'm wingnut and you're dingbat.
Or maybe James Jackass or something like that.
You're just slapping it up over there now, aren't you? James Jackass. Well,
that's why
I have been called worse.
I know, but Eddie Spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Okay.
Special head is my favorite.
Special head.
Yeah. Give me some of that special
I had
head.
no problem with the special head.
Yeah, so we should talk about, well, anyways, let's talk seriously about some of the bright spots.
And Tilray was over 23.
What? Come on.
Oh, shrieky voice
Anyways,
there. Shrill.
We're going to look at one of the brighter spots in the cannabis industry. Did you know that who is the largest retailer of cannabis in Canada?
Flower Corporation.
Meh.
Inner Spirit.
Ding, 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 ding. And here now is Darren Bodnar from Inner Spirit Holdings to talk about why they are the largest cannabis retailer in Canada. Inner Spirit Holdings CEO Darren Bodnar joins me now. Darren, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
You bet. Darren, you're up for Entrepreneur of the Year award tonight at the Lift Awards, I understand, the Canadian Cannabis Awards. Tell me how you got nominated and who are your competitors?
Yeah, well, I'm not totally sure how I got nominated, but we're really excited about it. I think what's kind of cool is, I represent all the entrepreneurs who are franchise partners in Spirit Leaf. So, going to win that one for this crew and
the team.
yeah, but terrific to be nominated amongst a bunch of other accomplished entrepreneurs.
Sure, you bet. The Canadian Cannabis Awards, this is their third year?
I'm not sure, 3 or 4, yeah,
Right.
but
Okay.
it's going to be an exciting night.
No doubt. Okay, so many people don't know that you're actually the largest retailer in all of Canada in the cannabis space.
Yeah, we've got the most number of stores now. I mean, we last time I was here, I think it was a dream. Really, we had maybe 4 or 6 locations going, and supply issues which were preventing the growth. But since Alberta's opened up licensing, we've really been able to execute on our plan, and we're a national retailer with stores in BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and one here in Ontario. So with 37 locations open today and a bunch more in the pipeline before the end of the year, we're the largest retailer by footprint. So that's a nice feather in our cap, and good to be in the pole position.
You bet.
Yeah.
The market for franchises, for locations, is supposed to get bigger in Ontario.
Yes.
Under the Rob Ford government. Supposedly we're going to have, Doug Ford government. Freudian slip there.
Yes.
We're supposedly going to have the market open up and the lottery system will come to an end. How many stores would you like to open in Ontario if that happens?
Sure, good question. So the max is 75 locations per retailer or per brand, and our objective will be to open the entire 75 stores. We've already got over 20 franchise partners ready and some locations fully built out and ready, and I think that'll be the biggest catalyst really for not only retailers but the entire Canadian cannabis market needs Ontario to open up.
Mm-hmm. So does the franchise model give you any price advantages in terms of acquisition in the wholesale market?
In various jurisdictions, you really can't have that kind of competitive nature, but it gives us other opportunities through like our point of sale systems and supply savings, and collectively our franchise partners, we've been able to build a national brand. So there's a lot of good synergies and benefits that come as being a franchise system.
Mm-hmm. Do you anticipate a huge uptick in consumption with the introduction of edibles and other associated products?
We do. Cannabis 2.0 is really going to be something else. I mean, to have a base of 40 plus stores going into 2020, where the sales and performance is already really good, and then to introduce a whole new product line on top of that, which is really exclusive to the cannabis market, is going to be incredible. So we expect quite a significant uptick and increase in basket size, and more new consumers who are maybe adverse to smoking now have beverage options and edible options. So I think it's going to be really good for our company and for the industry as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that customers who are Spirit Leaf customers in Saskatchewan are also seek out Spirit Leaf brands, the store branded in BC?
I think so. Look, we're getting more and more known, and we served over 110,000 customers in the month of October. So,
wow.
Customers are really, the brand is resonating. We've got a great group of customers, and I think there's brand familiarity, and you're seeing customers saying, hey, look, I'm going to drive past this store to go to this store because we're getting a better experience, and that's key to retail success.
Mm-hmm. So what's the favorite product among all your consumers at this point?
Sure. Well, Blue Dream is for sure continues to be the most popular strain, and customers really like pre-rolls. Gives them an opportunity to try a new strain, without big commitment. So we are selling, majority flower, but we continue to see an uptick in pre-roll as a format.
Sure. What is it about Blue Dream that everybody loves so much?
It makes you feel good and creative, and there's something about the strain that really resonates across the country.
I'm going to have to grow that in my home garden next.
Yes, highly recommended.
Do you see the future of cannabis in Canada? Well, what percentage of the population do you think is going to resort to growing their own over time? Or do you think there's always going to be I grow some at home, but when I'm out on the road, I also go buy from stores? Yeah,
I think the majority of the population, probably 99%, is a consumer. I mean, you can go and make your own alcohol, but for the convenience of it, consumers still like a liquor store. And I think the same will apply to cannabis. There's always going to be that grower, but they certainly also come to our stores to try something different or try what other strains that might be available.
Right. What province do you find the most challenging in Canada to do business in?
Well, obviously Ontario, right? Nobody can build a business plan around a lottery system. So once Ontario opens up, I think it'll be a whole new ball game. Big props to Alberta and Saskatchewan for really implementing business-friendly models that have allowed us to create a beautiful base. Saskatchewan just opened up their market for 2020, so it'll no longer be a lottery. So we see a lot of opportunity there as well, and we hope Ontario follows suit.
Mm-hmm. Does Quebec raising its consumer minimum age to 21 pose a threat to your ability to do business in Quebec?
Well, we can't do business in Quebec anyway because it's all government-owned stores.
Oh, okay.
So actually, it just fuels more people coming across to Ontario, right? So, I mean, Quebec's got their own thing going.
So which provinces have right now are government stores only?
I think primarily Quebec and some of the eastern provinces.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh. That's odd. I know that Newfoundland was allowing people to open up like a edible or a cannabis store next to a liquor store, which I thought was, well, there's the Wild East now.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do you see the most growth happening across Canada for retailers of cannabis?
Well, we still have some opportunity in Alberta. There's currently a license cap of 42, and we're a handful of stores away from achieving that. So through Q1 of 2020, Spirit Leaf will reach the maximum in Alberta. Then we've got Saskatchewan to focus on, and once Ontario opens up the system, that's obviously where the hotbed of activity is going to be. We've got our offices here, locations ready to go, and a good franchise network. So everybody's holding their breath for that important announcement for the industry.
Sure. Do you see at any point expanding your business model to X of Canada, United States, Europe?
Yeah, currently we're focused on the Canadian market. It's difficult with all the federal legislation in the U.S. to expand retail there. Yeah. But for sure, we have our eye on it. Our licensing model is definitely appealing to be able to do it through the U.S. market. But for now, we have lots to do in Canada and a lot of growth to focus on.
Sure. How does your franchising model work exactly?
Yeah, it's actually a typical franchise system. So you've seen great success in chocolate and coffee and fast food. So a franchise partner pays us a franchise fee of $25,000 up front, and then there's an ongoing royalty of 5% plus 1% that gets contributed to the fund on gross sales.
I see. Yeah. And so then do you provide guidance on like store decorations and everything?
Yeah, everything from marketing to best practices to point of sale to consumer engagement training. We really provide the full service to help ensure our franchise partners are successful.
I see. Yeah. And in terms of sourcing what goes on your shelves, do you have preferred partners that you work with?
Well, so we've got some great investors with Auxly and Tilray and Hexo, who are also strategic partners. But our franchise partners really, I think the beauty of the model is they know their local customer. They know what that customer wants better than a computer screen or data can tell you. So they really have the ability to purchase cannabis that works best for their local customer. But they also have the benefit of our system-wide data, which they can see in real time to say, hey, Blue Dream is a great top seller. Let's make sure we don't have that in stock. And then they layer on, and on top of that, we've got an amazing array of Spirit Leaf accessories and other accessories that we carry to really create a consistent brand across the country.
Sure. Hexo came out with their original Stash brand that is $4.49 a gram, or as cheap as $4.49 a gram. Yeah. Do you sell that in your stores?
So they just launched it in Quebec to start, but $125 an ounce is what we're going to be selling it for. We're anxious to get it on the market. I think it's going to be really great to help stamp out the illicit market, and $125 an ounce is a terrific price.
Sure. Yeah. Have you got customers asking for it at this point?
We haven't quite heard customers. It's really new, so I think this will probably be part of that. I think this will create some buzz. Yeah. I think it's going to be a strong seller.
Do you think that this is going to force all of the other LPs to have a low price product as well?
I don't necessarily think so. I mean, everybody's got their own strategy for launching products. There's already some other good value options out on the market with Canica, and they've got the batch, so you're sub $5 a gram. But I think
batch?
Yeah, it's called the batch. Yeah. Okay. So it's a really cool kind of entry level product.
Who makes that?
Canica and Tilray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's part of the High Park family.
Oh, interesting.
We've got everything for something for everybody. Somebody who wants that kind of $5 gram, but also somebody who wants the $10 to $15 kind of specialty gram and try something new.
The champagne
Yeah,
instead
the champagne,
of the
exactly.
$2 chuck.
Exactly.
All right, Darren, that's an awesome update. We'll leave it there for now. We'll come back to you soon. Thanks very much
Sure.
for joining us again.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks a lot for having me.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Make sure you never miss a show by subscribing to our YouTube channel and clicking on the little notifications bell. If you're interested in getting monthly actionable investment ideas in the cannabis space to your inbox, subscribe to the newsletter at MidasLetter.com.
Wow.
I was reading that CB2 Insights announced record revenue of $4.2 million for the third quarter of 2019. And I thought that was, that's nice. CB2 Insights, $4.2 million, record revenue, Q3. So we'll call that a run rate of 16, 17 million.
Well, and if they're moving up every quarter, then that run rate's going to keep moving up.
Do you think?
I'm a little I don't know much about it. I know I've been a pot smoker for a long time.
That explains it.
And I'm trying to get my head around this. Somebody said, like, I think our friend in Spain said, he said, you know what, Canada had a chance to become sort of the premier country to get involved in the marijuana space, and it doesn't look like to me that there's been a lot of mistakes, hasn't there? And I shouldn't be. That's not fair, because it's a new
I don't
industry.
think any business stands a chance against any U.S. enterprise just because of the sheer volume of available capital on the U.S. side.
Right.
And if you're going to become a global contender in any industry, you better move to the United States. That is being made increasingly clear by the number of companies that list in the United States, if they're not actually domiciled in the States, led by our own Encana. Encana was once, Canada is the derivative of the National Oil Company, which was
In Canada.
Yeah.
In Canada.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Are they going to change their name? Probably.
Probably, yeah.
Probably something like Enusa.
Enusa?
Yeah, like in Encana, Enusa.
Enusa.
Now they're in Enusa, USA. Enusa.
Enusa. Oh, very clever, Ed. I'm a little slow today.
Well,
I didn't drink any whiskey last night.
so you're on the wagon now another 9 days, 10 days?
Today's day 9, yeah.
Simple, isn't it?
Oh no, it becomes more of a battle day after day, because it's like
I know.
the social element is gone, because now I'm just too fucking miserable to talk to anybody.
Why would you walk into a bar if you didn't drink?
Well, exactly.
Because everybody's drunk.
Yeah, and as soon as you sit
acting
down
like
and say,
assholes.
"Well, I'll have a Coke."
That was the only time I got angry at my buddy Fairburn, and I apologized to him, but I wasn't drinking, and he was saying some stupid shit, and I got angry. I think you would if you're all drinking, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Anyway, so let's see. I want to know which companies are not up today, because on a day like this where everything is up, what happened today? I mean, is this like, how do all of the algos suddenly click in at the same time? And that's the only explanation. Like, there's no sector-wide catalyst that happened. Is there? Like, wouldn't it be hilarious if there was some giant catalyst that we didn't know about?
I checked the news. There's really no news. The one comment made was that a lot of the bigger companies that have real estate holdings are doing things to get rid of their real estate because they don't want to tie up the capital.
Oh. Going back to CB2 Insights, the record revenue picture. Let's see here. There's nothing listed as, looks like solid revenue. Revenue $4.2 million. Cost of sales $1.3 million. Gross profit $3 million. Not bad. That's pretty impressive. So that's a good clean quarter. Anyways, we need more like that. So
we sure do.
Nothing pisses me off more than a market that goes up for no reason. Because for your fundamentals and your technicals.
Maybe you're going to find out on Monday.
Like, pull me up a chart of the Oh, I guess you can't. Well, let's look at weed. Let's look at weed on the daily, on a daily basis over 3 months. I want you to show me technically what there could be that presaged this move today. Nothing. Right. Okay, so fundamentally.
Okay, so 3 months. Here we go. There it is. There's a 3-month chart. Survey says.
Okay. Now, okay, can you get the candles down to 1 day just because I don't want to see the noise of...
Well, you can't. You got to go to a 6 month to get it to do that.
No, you see the upper thing here where it says 1 hour?
Yeah.
The 1H, click that.
Oh.
And go to 1 day, a little further down.
Where? Like where?
Down, down. There you go. Oh, no, there it is. Okay. So,
Wow,
and now zoom in on 5 day.
Look at this. Look at this. So, okay, let's do a 5 day.
Okay.
And that's, okay, that's a 5 minute. Just a minute. Hold on a second there. 1 day. I don't. It doesn't want to do what I want it to do.
Hilarious. Okay.
But it's already like, look there's a big wick on this thing now.
Yeah.
The thing is selling off late in the day.
Yeah.
Market's now up a point. The S&P's up a point. So the comment was that this yield curve, like the Bank of Japan is starting to realize that these low rates forever are killing the banking industry. That was the comment made by the guy who was on CNBC this morning.
Well, I thought it was interesting that you were saying earlier that last reported negative sovereign debt number was 17 trillion.
17 2 months ago.
And the most recent reported number is now 10 trillion.
Well, some say 10, some say 12, yeah.
So
it's changing.
Yeah.
France went positive. France was negative, now it's positive.
So the negative scenario is just the negative interest rate experiment seems to be ending.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to a money manager that rides the train, and I can't remember his name, but that's not important. And he said to me, I said, a rate's going to keep going. He says, if rates go negative in North America, it's going to destroy the banking system.
Really?
That he was adamant, and I think this guy's a smart guy. This is a guy that, probably has got all kinds of financial degrees behind him.
Mm-hmm. Who's that?
The guy. What's his name? Cucumber. Where do you live?
Oh, right.
Down the lane.
Okay, so let's see here. I want to look at this. Let's put up some indicators here. I want to see the RSI, and I want to see the Bollinger Bands because
Bollinger Bands?
RSI strategy. What the hell is that's not what I wanted to see. See, the problem with this thing is there's just too much to choose from in the TradingView tools.
Yes. Look at that. And remember the day,
This is a 5-day look. This is, okay, so let's zoom into this.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll let you do a 5 bars. Like that's what you, there you go.
So this is the bars by 5 minutes. So I'm gonna go by, let's just say 1 hour. Okay, so there we go. This is yesterday. Oh no, yesterday was the 7th, right? Okay, so here's the trading up to the end of the day, and you have a big wick in the last hour of trading.
When?
Right here. See the crosshairs? That's the last hour of trading yesterday.
Okay.
So you got your big wick, which, as you said, was an indicator
that's
of...
a big tail. That's a big tail.
Big tail, rather. Sorry.
Now that's not what you want. That usually
Right.
would say to you that the market should go up because it's a big tail, right?
Well, it did. Oh no, sorry. Here's the last hour of trading down here.
Where?
This is the last hour of trading on the 7th. The last hour of trading on the 8th is down here. See the crosshairs?
Yeah.
So now that's the last candle before the end of the day yesterday.
There's nothing there. There's nothing telling me anything.
All right. You know what?
Somebody got up this morning and said, I'm going to buy a lot of this because everybody's sleeping. And he's going to buy
the whole market?
Well, look.
Okay, so let's go to the 5 minute candles.
It hit 28 let's see here. On my chart, the high was 28.69. It's almost $1 lower now.
So there was nothing at the end of the day yesterday to indicate that this was going to happen today.
Well, I don't think they flashed their hand. You know, they don't say, hey, this is going to move tomorrow.
But
who?
Well, that's exactly it. Who is going to buy? Like, this is the thing. You cannot trust a market when people can operate so opaquely.
But stocks jump around.
But this is why the stock market's coming to an end. As an investor, with the advent of secondary markets and private companies, I'm going to be an investor in that. As soon as that market matures, and that's the market that's coming that we were alluding to yesterday, that is going to put an end to equity markets as a source of funding for startup companies.
Yeah.
It's going to be a private market thing, because at least in a private market, you can't short the stock, you can't front run the stock, because it's a over-the-counter market trading directly with other traders and no exchange, no clearinghouse. You trade directly with other investors, and you sell your shares directly to another investor, or you buy them from another investor who's already an investor and registered shareholder of the company. And the transactions are transparent. So this is the evolution that is right now about to sweep stocks aside. And you watch, I mean, it sounds crazy now, but in 5 years, we won't be talking about the stock market. You and I will be sitting here looking at the private company secondary market, and we'll be talking about the private companies, because that's where we'll be able to understand what's happening.
Yeah, but if there's no regulation, the regulatory stuff, you don't know what you're doing.
No, there is full regulatory stuff. You still have to be registered. You still have to report audited financials once a year, quarterly financials. You have to release news on any material event.
But private companies don't have to do that.
They do.
Well, if they have a lot of money, they don't.
Well, if they're in the current realm, if you want to trade a private company on a registered secondary exchange, you have to provide all of that reporting.
Okay.
This is the new thing that's happening that is replacing the public equity markets. Is these secondary private markets are just emerging. Did you know that Canada is the only country in the G7 that doesn't have a secondary market recognized by the Securities Act of the country? Canada is the only country.
I never knew that.
You know how many there are in the United States?
How many?
22 secondary markets for private companies only, where investors trade directly with other investors only, without a broker and without any clearing. And any company that wants to do that has simply got to register in the United States under a certain rule regime, which we are about to spend a lot of time in, because it's the solution. Anyways, I said, everybody's like, what the hell is he talking about?
I know you know what?
I'm talking about Reg A+.
So somebody, you could bought Uber, for instance, before it went public.
No.
Okay.
Well, you could have bought Uber before it went public, because every broker dealer in town was trying to flog an Uber allocation while Uber was able to raise money at that crazy valuation. When you think about it, you know, Uber has yet to turn a profit, and increasing numbers of people suggest they never will. And when you think about that, what does that then make Uber? It makes Uber one of the biggest pump and dumps in the history of markets.
You could argue that there's all kinds of them in the dot-com era. All kinds
There's
of
no
them.
argument there.
Yeah.
But my point is that a big company with a big reputation,
right,
that is sponsored by capital markets, can reach this level of pump and dump, whereas in a private company basis, you'll never get there, and so the threat to the investor doesn't exist. You can still lose all your money investing in a private company. But my point is that with a private company that is not publicly traded, you don't have the risk of this public market wrecking your valuation, this poorly regulated public market where you can front run stocks, you can scalp stocks, you can, run all kinds of high-frequency trading algorithms that basically respond to the actions of investors. You can't mess with private stocks that way, at least not yet, because this exchange is new and it only permits trading between investors, by investors, among investors. Anyways, that's my long-winded way of saying what I said.
That's your soliloquy for the day.
Anyways, so another bright light in the cannabis sector, and a guy who is always I'm not going to say optimistic, he's always measured in his assessment of the marketplace, and that just makes him more credible. But Narbe Alexander is the CEO of Canopy Rivers, and him and I chatted just a short while ago. I'm joined now by Canopy Rivers CEO Narbe Alexandrian. Narbe, welcome back.
Thanks for having me again.
You bet. Narbe, in this downturn in the cannabis space, there's a lot of doom and gloom, but cooler minds need to prevail. And I'm assuming that you're still all in on the cannabis space in Canopy Rivers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're cool as a cucumber, as they say it. We really believe that this is still one of the most revolutionary times in our life where we see a product come into play, an ingredient, which is cannabis, come into play in the consumer packaged goods industry and just take over all over the world.
Sure. With the revaluation in cannabis, which is, in my view, just a natural part of an emerging asset class that has seen extreme interest, there's a lot of people who characterize it as over. And I think that puts such thinking, or those who think such, at risk of missing out on a lot of the upside that is apparent in the vast array of compounds and products and innovations that are going to come from cannabis because it is an emerging industry. So in this environment, what do you look at as more viable and attractive and of interest for right now versus waiting on the long-term growth of a more consumer packaged goods oriented industry?
Yeah, I mean, if we were to take a step back, what was happening prior to legalization was a bit of speculation. Everyone looked at who is developing how many square feet of cultivation space. And I like to use John Maynard Keynes as an example. John Maynard Keynes is the economist who got America and Canada and the UK out of the Great Depression in the 1930s. And he coined a term called animal spirits, which was you hear about one of your friends or peers in a speculative market going and buying something, they're making a lot of profit off of it without doing a lot of homework behind the back. You're actually going and just investing in that. So you heard that so-and-so LP tripled in 6 months. You just jump into that thinking that you're going to triple again. And the market, as we approach legalization, turned from being all about voting mechanism, which was who's the most popular, to becoming a weighing mechanism to show that who's actually showing the results at the till. So what we found over time was that when you look at the different cultivators, it's not about how much square footage you had, it's about what the quality of the greenhouse was and where it's located and who the operators were and what kind of cost advantage would you get and what kind of yield advantage would you get and how can you compete against a market where there's more and more hemp and cannabis cultivation taking place all over the world that's really driving down the cost. So that's where we're in right now. We're trying to see who is it that actually has substance and fundamentals behind it. This is why we're so keen on hearing about earnings and what companies were just promotional companies at that point in time that don't have any substance behind it as well.
Mm-hmm. So then would you categorize any of the larger LPs as at risk of at an existential risk as a result of the weakness in the market at this point?
I would say that I don't think there's any existential risk. I do think there's a risk of right sizing in the thought process of being that a lot of these large LPs have a huge backing of retail investors that believe in it and have valued it at a higher multiple than many of the other players you see in the space. Why I don't think it's existential is because these players have huge assets all around the world that they can utilize and they can capture new markets. I firmly do believe that when we look at profitability, we're causing harm to ourselves because what we're doing is taking a conservative approach to how we see the industry. Mm-hmm. This is a greenfield opportunity. In Canada alone, legalized market, it's a 12% increase month over month for cannabis sales. That's a 284% annualized rate of growth. We're only in the first inning of the game here. So if we sell ourselves short with profitability, we're giving away a piece of our profit to the government for taxes when we could be taking that and redeploying it in new markets and growing the asset more and more.
Mm-hmm. Drake recently announced a partnership with Canopy Growth wherein they're going to collaborate on a product line built around Drake and his name. To me, that seemed like it should be a catalyst and a bit of a wake-up call that, you know, this is an industry that integrates well with many other existing industries. And so I keep looking for something like that to happen and cause a reversal generally across the sector. Even in the case of Canopy's own shares, there wasn't the kind of enthusiasm expressed in the share price performance as you would have expected with such a big announcement. Do you think that the audience has become just so tone deaf because they're all focused on the decline in prices that it doesn't matter what they hear right now, it's all just bad news?
I mean, could it be like the Trump effect where there's big news all the time and nothing's really affecting everyone because we're just so desensitized to it? I do believe that the Drake deal was a huge deal. Drake is the #1 rapper at this point in time, and he has a huge influence with a demographic that is keen on using cannabis for recreational or adult use. So I do think it was a very valuable partnership to be made there. But again, I think the focus now from investor base is how does this improve the till, the results on the till, and not necessarily how does this improve the marketing efforts of the company. Will this sell more cannabis? Will more people buy it? And we won't know that until it's actually in play.
We don't really hear much from the Snoop Dogg Leafs by Snoop sort of franchise in terms of a broken out from the rest of the product sort of discussion that goes on. Do you know why that is?
No, I wouldn't have any details on that, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we know that the musicians coming into the space and the entertainers and the celebrity effect is obviously building more visibility around and the cannabis industry and lending sort of more of a legitimacy to it, if you will, because people's cultural heroes start using a product, typically their audience does too. Do you see a situation where, what's happening in the stock market doesn't really have any bearing on what's happening at the till, as you say, but it is the action at the till that will ultimately drive the stock market's reversal in time?
I think in time you'll see both of them come back together. Again, I think what we really need to prove to the investor body is these are the sets of companies that you should focus on because these are the ones that are going to continuously show the growth. And there's another set of companies which we used to believe in, but something is wrong with the business model, or maybe they screwed up the capital structure and took too much debt, and now they're drowning in debt. They can't service that debt. And this will all play out in the next few months, in my opinion, where we see some of these converts come into action. Companies can't pay them. They have to go into other means. But I do believe the celebrity effect is strong. So an example I love to give is in the sports industry. And there's a new study that was pushed out about a month ago in Nature magazine about the effects of athletes and cannabis. Have you heard that one?
I've heard a few different things from athletes in cannabis, but not that particular one. No.
So they did a survey, and they found that 30% of amateur and professional athletes say they use cannabis, CBD or THC before or after some type of a performance. A lot of it was anonymized, so we don't know who these athletes are, but it seemed pretty promising. So at the same time, what they did was they did a study on the runner's high. So as you know, the runner's high is you go out for a run 3 kilometers or a couple of miles, and you come back and you have this sense of euphoria in you. And scientists have always thought this was a mystery because they couldn't peg what it was. Your hormonal system does show an increase in endorphins when you do come back. So they thought that as you run and you exert energy, your endorphin levels increase, and the neurotransmitters that push that hormone actually make you happier. So what they did is they sent out 70 individuals for a run. This was a double-blind study. So 35 of those individuals that were going for a run were given an endorphin blocking drug. Another 35 were given a placebo. And the experimenters themselves, it's double blind, so they don't know who they gave what to, so they can't dictate how they talk through it or anything like that. They went for a run, they come back, and everyone shows a similar amount of euphoria. Yet one has an endorphin blocking drug, so no increase in endorphins. The other one, the placebo, does have that. So now scientists believe that the endocannabinoid system is actually the result, the culprit around what gives you the runner's high, which gives a nice tone because there's the word high in runner's high, and and we're talking about cannabis. So THC and CBD bind to the endocannabinoid system. This is a huge market which nobody has really tapped into in the Canadian market nor in the U.S. market, and I believe that what we're going to see over the next little while is cannabis companies are going to, using data, are going to start creating niches of products. So products meant for certain demographics or psychographics and different groups of people. And they're going to be focused on talking to those groups of people in a certain way. And that's what I think really differentiates the Canadian brands to what the California brands are doing because of how competitive California is.
Sure. The weakness in capital markets has probably changed the dynamic in funding private companies, which is a large part of what you do. What has changed in the private company universe in cannabis?
Yeah, if you brought me in about a month ago, I would have said nothing. I would have said a lot of the private market participants would have said that they thought the public markets were just a summer fling, and that would go away. But now that we're seeing there's a more prolonged effect to how the markets are treating cannabis companies, you're seeing a right sizing and a reconciliation of the multiples between the public and the private markets. We like to internally call it a bit of a Boxing Day or Black Friday effect, because you talk to a company and their $30 million valuation, you tell them that there's no way they can raise that in this type of an industry. 2 weeks later, they come back to you and their $15 million valuation, 50% off. It's Black Friday.
Right.
So you are seeing that repricing of a lot of businesses that we've been checking out. And what I like about our situation at Canopy Rivers is we have about $80 million of cash on hand. So we're ripe for investment, and we're just waiting for the opportunities that we've been following for a year now, right-size their valuations, and it's a great entry point for any investor.
Right. Okay, Narby, that's a great update as per usual. We'll keep the home fires burning, as they say, and come back to you soon. Thanks for joining me today.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Make sure you never miss a show by subscribing to our YouTube channel and clicking on the little notifications bell. If you're interested in getting monthly actionable investment ideas in the cannabis space to your inbox, subscribe to the newsletter at MidasLetter.com. Anyways, so, Narby's got a bright outlook on the whole space, and I think that's kind of like the attitude that you have to sort of have if you're not going to drive yourself insane.
Really?
Really?
I'm going to put up weed again. I want to see how that's...
You want to figure out what the hell's going on there, don't you?
A lot of buyers today.
Yeah.
Look at that. All the candles there today are all green. All of them. On this line here, right? Except for the last one. The last one's red. Huh, how about that? Yeah, I'm going to say I think it's going to be hard for this thing to get into new high territory, or take out the highs from, say, the end of October, which was around $29. But nonetheless, a great move. If you're a weed shareholder and you looked at your account yesterday, now you look at it today, you got to think, hey, it's a good thing I bought that stock yesterday.
But who would be buying it? That's just the thing.
Well, all the people that sold, someone had to buy it. What? You mean you can't have nobody not buy it? For instance,
no, I know, but usually in a company in weak markets like this, companies like Canopy would be on.
The U.S. market's at an all-time high.
I'm not talking about the U.S. markets. I'm talking about the cannabis market.
Right.
Cannabis market's at an all-time low, and it's a weak market. So normally a company like Canopy would have they would have some traders who were tasked with protecting the stock as best they could through market-making activities, arguably, correct?
Correct.
And so during those times, they kind of ameliorate the fall, the plunge, the steepness, the speed, the velocity, but I don't know. I'm just at a loss here.
You know what? I think a lot of I'm more trader oriented. Maybe you're more investor oriented. You know,
could be
because a trader really doesn't care. He just wants to take the move.
Really?
Well, what if you're short this thing? You're going to say, so what's going on? Maybe the shorts are covering. I can tell you, if you were a short a big position and this thing starts to leave the station,
the train.
How do you know I was going to say station? What's wrong with you?
I can see where you were going.
Okay, so yeah, if you didn't cover at 25, and then you say, well, here's 26, I'm not going to worry about it. Hey, are you looking at this thing? It's just cleared 27. What? And then it's 28, and you're thinking, why didn't I cover this morning?
Yeah.
And maybe if it goes up another $3, the shorts will really have to start covering.
You think?
Gee.
All right. Well, let's try to find one macro catalyst for.
Well, let's say.
I'm going to put cannabis into Google under news. Let's see if there's anything there that we can look at and say, okay, well, there it is. So Drake going into business. That was announced yesterday.
During the market or after the market?
During the market, before the market.
Really?
Yesterday morning.
Hey, and I think it was down at one point this morning, wasn't it?
So, but would that be? So here's the thing. Drake announces that he's going into the market and is launching new products in a partnership with Canopy.
What's Drake though? What's Drake?
The Drake. Anyway, so the market's slow to pick that up. And maybe it's a day's latency that the market says, whoa, wait a sec. The Drake is fucking in the market? Fuck, that's it. The bear market is over. We're going all in because Drake is the big shit.
I don't think that's it.
Well, I would be surprised if that was it, but that's the only thing that I can
Maybe
look
he's
at.
got all his homies in there buying.
The only macro catalyst in the entire sector is Drake, and it was out on CNN 20 hours ago. It was out on BNN Bloomberg on the 7th, so yesterday. Forbes covered it, Rolling Stone covered it, Daily Mail covered it. So there you go. In all of the cannabis industry babble, rabble out there, there's nothing to talk about except cannabis is going down. And suddenly Drake comes in and says, well, actually, fuck you all. I'm throwing my hat in the ring and I'm getting into the cannabis game.
Is he actually putting any money in, or he's just putting his name in? That's what I want to know.
Well, if you read the press release from, let's read the Canopy Growth press release, because there's no point in reading all the mainstream media interpretation, because it will be invariably absolutist and probably not that accurate.
Right.
Okay, so Canadian icons come together. Canopy Growth and Aubrey Drake Graham.
That's his name?
Aubrey Drake Graham.
I knew an Aubrey.
Better known as Drake, and that better known to us as the Drake, because which is it? The Drake or the other Drake?
So what is it? A Drake? Is a Drake a male duck? In
A
the
Drake
animal?
is a male duck.
Yeah. And all ducks are just the mallards?
Well, all ducks are males.
All ducks are males.
No, Drake is a male
You
duck.
ever see ducks
know
go
what you
through
call
their
a
mating
female duck?
reference? You ever see their mating ritual? Yeah.
I don't.
They bob. They get their heads bobbing, and they're in the water, right? And they're going like this, and they're in sync, right? And then that's it's a ritual, right? Then the Drake sort of slides right by on her and jumps on her back, grabs her by the neck with his beak,
and gives it to her.
gives it to her for about 10 seconds.
Really?
That's
10
it.
seconds?
Oh, fast, yeah.
Faster than a jackrabbit.
I spend a lot of time in parks. I'm a real nature lover.
And when you see animals having sex, you drop everything and watch.
You know what?
I can't say I blame you, Ed. I don't know anybody who would not do that. Like, I mean, look, Mama, that animal's got its pee-pee stuck in that other animal's bottom.
The kids in the park say, look at that crazy man.
I don't think they're watching you.
okay.
I think they're looking at the duck and saying, Mommy, why is that duck on top of the other duck?
For the years I've been doing this in this particular park, I've never seen
So you're that guy.
two geese, but they do the same ritual.
Well, geese are a little bit more classy. They go behind the bushes.
Yeah, they go behind the
They're
bushes.
like, look, there's that crazy old fart. Let's go behind the bushes, dear. You and I need to chat.
Yeah.
So, but, geese are more classy. Geese go behind the hedge. Or around, they go out of sight. They don't want, they don't want everybody watching what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen them.
Geese are not exhibitionists like ducks. Ducks will throw down in a crowd. They don't care.
Well, I've read some stories about the birds, how wild
So
they
a
can
male
be.
duck is a drake. What's
Yes.
a female duck?
A doe.
It is not a doe.
Okay. What is it?
A duck.
A duck.
A duck.
Is there an A with it?
A duck.
A duck. Okay. A duck.
Like
a
the
duck.
drake, a duck. What did the drake do to a duck?
A duck.
A duck. Yeah, anyways.
Well, that's like in Russia, the feminine is always
notice
ends
how
with
close-
an A, right? So maybe it's a ducka.
a ducka.
A duckova.
Dabsha korba. Dabsha korba. Do you know what dabsha korba means in Polish? Mariusz.
Dubja pun.
No, I'm not going to
Dabsha
tell you
means
because
good.
it's rude. It's rude.
Oh, I know what it is, I think. Yeah. I'm not going to say it
No,
because
you're not.
my
You
old man would
shouldn't.
say it only when he was pissed off.
Yeah.
It was a bad word.
Bad word. Anyway, so concluding this week, in concluding our show for the week, we see a giant lift in cannabis stocks for no apparent reason. And just to demonstrate unequivocally the value of Midas Letter and its deep insight into the cannabis market, our assessment is we don't have a fucking clue what's going on in the cannabis space right now. Enjoy your weekend, and maybe we'll see you next Friday.
On your line, Sophie.
out.